Firstly, the consequences of Russia using nuclear weapons in Ukraine. And secondly, America's been trying to persuade Russia to release the basketball star Brittany Griner and the businessman Paul Whelan. Griner has been convicted on drugs charges. Whelan has been held on spying charges. We don't know how far those talks went. A deal might be announced in the coming days, but no statement on Griner and Paul Whelan was released immediately after the talks. The more important part of their negotiations today was definitely about nuclear weapons. Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly threatened to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Now, recently, he has backed away from that threat, but the temptation to resort to nuclear bombs must rise as the Ukrainians push the Russians further and further back on the battlefield. The Ukrainians' victory in Kherson is the latest example of their doing this. Now, President Joe Biden met China's Xi Jinping at the G20 summit, as you have reported, and Biden said afterwards, "I mean what I say, and I say what I mean." Now, Biden couldn't say that to Putin because Putin backed out of going to the G20. He sent his foreign minister instead. So I think the meeting here in Ankara served the purpose of CIA Director William Burns telling the Kremlin that when Biden says nuclear weapons, the use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine will not be tolerated, Biden is not talking tough to impress American voters. Biden actually means it. And if the Russians nuke the Ukrainians, Biden will make them pay for it.
And just tell us, Jasper, why are these talks being hosted there in Ankara, of all places?
Well, this is curious and it's very interesting. Turkey has acquired a status similar to that of Geneva or Vienna, meeting places for parties in conflict, a place regarded by both parties as neutral. Since the Ukrainian war began, Turkey has hosted 2 talks between Russian and Ukrainian negotiators. Turkey and the UN negotiated the grain deal, under which Ukraine exports its wheat to the rest of the world with Russian approval. Turkey has negotiated several prisoner exchanges between Ukraine and Russia. And now it appears that Turkey has become the go-to place for meetings between the Americans and Russia. I have to say, I find this quite curious because technically, Turkey is not perfectly neutral in the Ukrainian conflict. Turkey is supplying the Ukrainians with military drones, but the Russians don't seem to be put off by that.